What's up, Panda Gang? I want to understand two things in this video. First, how much is a single culture worth in relation to the rest of the yields? And second, which of the Theater Square buildings gives me the best bang for my buck? To compare culture to the rest of the yields, we first revisit that 1 production is equal to 1 food, 2 faith, and 4 gold. If you have disputes there, check out my previous mastery video breaking down each of these yields and leave a comment with your opinion. Note that I'll use the word yield to describe the previously mentioned equality. So 2 yields could be 1 production, 1 food, or 1 production and 2 faith. Now we find a way that these yields and culture can be traded for each other. Looking at great people, it was easy to calculate that 1 great person point costs 15.2 gold. Now from there, we can solve for culture with the Theater Square Festival City project. If you saw the last video, this is where the fun ends. If a project costs 100 production, you're going to get an extra 15 culture over the course of that project, and upon completion, 11 great people points of all 3 types. That's a total of 33. Now this is terrible, since 33 great people points costs 495 gold, which is equivalent to 124 production, which is more than the 100 production we started with. This means we cannot solve for culture's value with that leftover 15. All that said, I never thought this method was bulletproof for culture or for science. Please let me know how much you value 1 culture compared to the rest of the yields. And for the purpose of this video, we will assume that 1 culture is in fact equal to 1 production. Let's dive in on the details of the various culture generators. So the monument is the first building here. It provides 2 culture per turn with no cost to maintain and a construction cost of only 60 production. Now the Theater Square itself is special. It rises in cost as the game proceeds depending on how many techs and civics you have researched. It also yields varying amounts of culture depending on adjacency bonuses specific to its placement. The only certainty is the single great person point of each kind. You get a writer, an artist, and a musician point, which, as discussed, is worth about 45 gold per turn. Next, the Amphitheater. That is the first building of the Theater Square. Construction cost 150 production, and maintenance is 1 gold per turn. It produces 1 great writer point and 2 culture. The net benefit can be calculated as 3.5 yield from the great person point, 2 yields from the culture, and negative 0.25 yield due to maintenance. Net benefit, 5.5 yield. The Art Museum and Archaeological Museum are the second buildings of the Theater Square. Art museums let you hang art, while archaeological museums allow you to acquire and display artifacts. Luckily, those are the only differences. Construction for both cost 290 production, and maintenance is 2 gold per turn. They both produce 1 great writer point, 2 great artist points, and 2 culture. Net benefit comes out to 12.75 yield. Finally, the Broadcast Center is the last building of the Theater Square. Construction costs 440 production, and 3 gold per turn in maintenance. Now it produces 1 great artist point, 2 great musician points, 2 culture, and a bonus 4 culture if you have it powered. So the net benefit is going to be 12.5 yields or 16.5 if powered. Finally, comparing buildings, we see that monuments cost 30 production per yield, Amphitheater 27, museums 22, and broadcast centers 26 or 34, depending on if you have them powered or not. Now these numbers are skewed due to those great people points, so if we strictly consider culture, then the 30 production per culture monument looks better compared to the 75 production per culture Amphitheater, 145 production for museums, and 73 or 220 production to culture ratio for broadcast centers. Now to summarize, great people points are more expensive than you may have thought, and that's pretty much what the Theater Square and their buildings actually do. Finally, the monument is by far the best value culture building, especially if you're not looking for those great people points. My personal takeaways are to prioritize early monument construction in my non-culture victory games. This gives me the best value for culture. And then in my culture victory games, the monument, well, it's a little bit less important since you're more interested in recruiting those great people anyways. Now, I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment with how much you value culture versus production and the rest of the yields in your games, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.